June was a busy month for gaming between the return of E3 and games' major releases, and while July may seem a bit slower in comparison to the last couple of months, there are still plenty of exciting games launching across various platforms. This month may not have a like Ratchet & Clank, Rift Apart or Resident Evil Village, but AAA developers and indie studios alike will be releasing titles that appeal to all sorts of gamers. Before of that, don't forget to subscribe our channel, then click the notification bell to updates the next video. And comment down below if you want a game should be included in top 10 list. Hi Cody fam. Here are the biggest video games coming in July 2021 in ranking review. Please watch and enjoy. Kickstarter projects of online games, and MMORPGs in particular, seem cursed. Most of them are either ill-fated flops or downright scam. It's seen that a similar fate will be shared by Crowfall, a unique production that has already had its release postponed 4 times, trying to launch since 2016. The expectation is over, though, as this title is definitely coming out in July. We think Crowfall is quite unique in its premise. Players are souls residing in a heavenly realm where they band together in guilds and compete for dominance. However, they cannot fight in this world, so they need to go to other dimensions to conduct their campaigns through vassals. You thus take part in scenarios where you have to fulfill certain goals for your kingdom. When time runs out, we move on to another land with different rules and requirements. There are also unusual races, Minotaur, Centaur, or Hamster, pleasantly designed classes, and some really successful ideas. It's just a shame that the whole thing seems to lack a final touch. Old World is a turn-based 4X strategy game that debuted in early access last year. Now it's time for the official launch. Those interested in this genre should check Old World out for a very simple reason. Namely, Soren Johnson, who previously delivered Off-World Trading Company and Sid Meier's Civilization IV, is working on this project. It is a recommendation in itself. As part of the game, we will take control over a selected civilization and try to lead it to expansion. The task will not be easy, and we will watch our subjects develop over hundreds of years. 1 turn is exactly 1 year. To win, you have to fulfill randomly generated ambitions, which are special tasks set for you by a particular dynasty. The development of our city will be hindered by random events, which are modeled on ancient history, and further twists of the plot will depend on our decisions. Releasing in July, exact date TBA, for Nintendo Switch. With iOS and Android versions launching in September. About a year after being announced in a Pokémon Presents livestream. Pokémon Unite will launch sometime this month on Nintendo Switch, though the exact release date still has yet to be announced. Unite is a multiplayer online battle arena, or MOBA, similar to League of Legends, in which 2 teams of 5 players face off in matches. Players start out controlling low-level Pokémon, which can grow stronger and evolve as the game goes on. They'll earn points by catching wild Pokémon on the map and scoring goals, working with teammates to reach the opponent's goals while defending their own. Unite will be a free-to-start game with a roster of 20 Pokémon including Pikachu, Greninja, Garchomp, Venusaur and Cinderace. It will support cross-platform play with mobile once that version launches later in the year. Releasing July 29 for Xbox One, Xbox Series XS and PC. Indie developer Neon Giant's cyberpunk action RPG The Ascent will be an Xbox console exclusive available on Game Pass from day 1 when it launches this month. Set in the world of Bells controlled by a mega-corporation called the Ascent Group. The game takes place following the corporation's mysterious collapse. With Bells in chaos, the player must learn the truth behind the Ascent Group's fall while preventing rival factions from taking control. The Ascent is a top-down open-world twin-stick shooter that features various ways to play like single-player, local co-op and online co-op for up to 4 players. Releasing July 27 for Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4 and PC. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles combines two games originally released in Japan for the Nintendo 3DS and mobile, and finally brings them to players worldwide. Like other Ace Attorney games, these are adventure games and visual novels that involve investigation, evidence gathering and courtroom battles, where players must pay attention to find flaws in witness testimonies to determine what is true. However, unlike other games in the series that follow protagonist Phoenix Wright as he takes on cases in the modern day, The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles takes place in the late 19th, early 20th century, the era known as Japan's Meiji period and Britain's Victorian era, and follows Phoenix's ancestor Ryunosuke Naruhodo. While traveling to England, Ryunosuke befriends famous detective Sherlock Holmes, a clear parody of Arthur Conan Doyle's iconic consulting detective. Releasing July 27 for Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4, with a PC version coming later in 2021. The highly anticipated sequel to 2007's The World Ends With You launches this month. Like the original, Nioh is an action RPG set in the Shibuya district of Tokyo, though the setting has been created in 3D for the new game. While original protagonist Neku Sakuraba is said to be appearing in some capacity, Nioh follows a new playable character named Rindo Kanade, who ends up part of the Reaper's game alongside his gang, the Wicked Twisters. Those looking forward to the next installment in this stylish series can check out the demo, which is currently available on both Switch and PlayStation. Releasing July 20 on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series XS, PC and Stadia. Colombian indie studios Dreams Uncorporated and Sick have called their game Love Letter to Classic JRPGs with a new perspective. Cristales is a turn-based RPG with a unique hand-drawn 2D art style that wears its inspirations, like Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI and Persona 5, on its sleeve, while also incorporating elements of Colombian culture and architecture. In Cristales, players will simultaneously explore the past, present and future, shaping Cristales and the Four Kingdoms with their choices as time mage Crispell and her companions. Along the way, Crispell will uncover a complex plot to destroy the world and recruit allies who can help unravel the Empress's sinister plan. Releasing July 16 for Nintendo Switch. This Y-era Legend of Zelda game is finally coming to Nintendo Switch this month. Chronologically, the first game in the series' complex timeline. Skyward Sword follows Link, this time a knight in training from the floating town of Skyloft, who must rescue his childhood friend Zelda. Link's journey takes him across both the sky and the surface, ultimately explaining the origins of the Master Sword and the Kingdom of Hyrule, two staples of the Zelda franchise. Skyward Sword HD is a remaster of the 2011 game that will keep the original release's motion controls while also adding the option to use button controls. For instance, instead of swinging a Joy-Con around like a Wii remote, players can instead use the right analog stick to control the sword's direction. Launching alongside the game are a pair of Joy-Con based on the Master Sword and Hylian Shield, as well as an amiibo that features Zelda and Lothwing, which, controversially, unlocks fast travel between the sky and the surface. Releasing July 16, July 13 for the Deluxe Edition, for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series XS and PC. Fan of realistic racing games should look forward to F1 2021, the latest title in the annual series and first to release after developer Codemasters was acquired by EA last year. In addition to the game's usual career mode and various multiplayer options, F1 2021 will add a story mode called Breaking Point. This follows fictional driver Devin Butler and is meant to immerse players in the world of racing, taking inspiration from the Netflix docu series Formula One. Drive to Survive, which provides a behind-the-scenes look at the drivers and their lifestyles. Releasing July 9 for Nintendo Switch and PC. 2021 continues to be a huge year for the Monster Hunter franchise. Following the wildly successful launch of Monster Hunter Rise in March, Capcom hopes to replicate that success with a new entry in the spin-off series, Monster Hunter Stories 2. Wings of Ruin is a change of pace from the main series game where, instead of fighting monsters using an intricate but rewarding battle system, players raise monsters and engage in turn-based battles. In Wings of Ruin, players are given an egg that is said to contain the last Rathalos in the world, a creature that could either bring salvation or ruin. The game retains its predecessor's mechanics and focus on narrative storytelling. All of this is quite different from the main series game's complex action, but fans of the Monster Hunter world looking for a different kind of RPG will want to check this one out.